Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about my favorite hip hinge exercise, the Romanian Deadlift. So I love Romanian deadlifts because they're pretty accessible for just about everybody. If you have a back problem, if you're not the greatest at hinging, it's easy to scale the movement so that you're in a range of motion that's comfortable for you and that you can control. Because you're starting from a standing position and not picking a weight up from the floor like you would in a traditional deadlift, the level of threat to your body is a lot lower, which also can make it easier just to get into the hinge position to begin with. So I want to walk you through a couple of form pointers for RDLs, and then I'm going to show you some videos of the two variations that I use the most. So no matter what RDL variation you're doing, you're going to start from the standing position. That's sort of the definition of the movement. So you want to start with a tall and tight posture. So if you look, there's a straight line from my ear to my shoulder, hip, and heel. So we don't want to end up back here. This usually happens during the movement if we don't get into full hip extension. And we also don't want to live here in a really arched position, okay? So our start and finish position, tall and tight. Step number 2, I'm going to show you with this bar. Keeping your chest tall, you always want to unlock your knees. So if you have really flexible hamstrings, like I kind of do, you can definitely hinge without bending your knees, but most people are not going to be able to do that. What's going to happen is they're going to start to break at the lower back, okay? So you always have to bend your knees just a little bit in order to properly move your hips into a hinge. So tall and tight posture, unlock your knees, and then you're going to reach your hips back behind you until you find a stretch in your hamstring. So for most people, that's going to be with the weight just below your knees, okay? So from this position, I'm going to push the floor away, come back to my tall and tight position. So again, nice tall chest, unlock the knees, reach the hips back, find that hamstring tension, drive the floor away. So a couple other things to keep in mind. If you're using dumbbells for this instead of a barbell, the weights are going to be either at your sides or right in front of you, but with both implements, you need to keep the weight right against your body. As soon as the weight starts to get away, then we're going to get into that rounded back, which we don't want. Secondly, just like any deadlifting, I've talked about this before, when you're locking out the deadlift, you want to make sure that it's coming from your hips and not from your shoulders. So there's absolutely no reason to shrug at the top of the movement. So doing something like this is no good. So the only thing pushing you forward into that lockout position is your hips. Shoulders stay down away from the ears. So whether you're looking for a way to practice your hip hinge if you're newer to lifting, or just to supplement your lower body training to build a stronger deadlift, to build more muscle on the backside of your legs, I definitely recommend trying the RDL. As I mentioned, this is one of my favorite lower body exercises. It can be trained a variety of ways. You can go heavy for lower reps, assuming you have the strength to do so. You can keep the reps lighter and go for higher reps that really gets a good burn going in the hamstrings. Or you can use it as part of a circuit, keeping the weights more moderate. Check out the videos following and let me know what you think.
The dumbbell RDL is the first RDL variation I use with clients. It's easier to load and easier to move your arms in a less awkward position. Always keep the weights right against your legs as you do the lift. Barbell RDLs give you the option to load the lift a lot heavier. Make sure you take it out of the rack using your hips and not your lower back. The rest of the form should be the same as explained in the rest of the video.